Hey, hey Nord,
Hello.
124. Hey, hey Nord, I just thought of something funnier than 124.
What's that?
125.
I can think of something funnier than 125.
Not now, guest. You don't get to speak. Hello and welcome everyone to episode 125 of the Strip Poker Night at the Inventory podcast. I'm your returning, as always, host, spnanon, here with my co-host Patrick Nord. Say hi.
Hello, I'm Nordric.
And I interrupted him before. He wasn't allowed to speak, but now he is. It's Cinnayanny, our returning guest for the hour, here to cover another one of his projects as well. Also on the testing roster.
My name's Squid Yanni.
Again, try not to interrupt me. But yeah,
Sorry.
Reintroduce yourself.
My name's Squid Yanni, and I hate my job.
We don't know what your job is. This isn't a job. This is a hobby. I hope you're enjoying this. You don't get paid for this. Is there anything else you wanna reintroduce about yourself as a dev or your characters? We talked about Vine staff last episode. Anything else you've thought of in the 10-minute break between recording sessions?
Today we're talking about Jenetta, and you folks listening at home might notice that the same guest gets featured twice in a row. The answer can be found on the fifth stratum of the labyrinth. Go!
All right. We can pretty much just get right into it. Before we talk about Jenetta, we are going to first talk about a brand new testing roster character. Jenetta is not new. She is a return from even further back than Fischl last time, but we're getting ahead of ourselves. This is Ameri, or Ameri? I don't know. Ameri from, oh God.
Welcome to Demon School, Imura.
Thank you for covering my shit-ass introduction. I thought I knew the source. I did not. Yeah. She is, to my knowledge, she is, I don't know if there's a name for this, but the tall and severe student council president trope. Although it does seem like she's also a bit of a play on that because she's not quite as severe and stoic and stone cold as you might think. She is also apparently very enchanted by simple stories of romance and sexuality, and can get very easily embarrassed by those kinds of things. So naturally, she's a perfect fit for the game here. Apparently, she's quite enraptured by the bland anime protagonist of her show, as I understand.
Which is what makes her a perfect candidate to be enamored by the voiceless player.
It's just the way it is. But yeah, this is by another project by Soulheart RS, I believe, with art by Just Kidding, who is quite prolific. And it definitely shows here. Her art is certainly very polished, and I thought her writing was decently entertaining as well. But yeah, there is a lot to look at here and a lot to take in with her. She is a demon girl with expressive, not just pointy ears, but also just pointy hair ears on top of her normal ears. Cinnayanny, what did you think of your test game with Ameri?
First of all, I like this pose. Show it on screen, Mr. Editor. It's her awkward pose for if it's not on screen. I think it's cute. First of all, I was initially quite neutral, but then at a point she started being silly and having incredibly endearing expressions and talking about how easily enamored she is with romance by demonstration. I was like, I get it now. I like her a lot. And she's so silly. She's very charming. I like her chair in her forfeit. It's a bit undershadowed, especially on the back, but it's a nice looking chair. I want to own it in real life. Her sweater is very detailed and it's very nice looking. Or sweater dress thing. Her legs are incredibly long. They're really long. That's all I have to say on her legs. And my one fault is that her skirt, it looks like vacuum sealed to her crotch. I don't know if that's a canon thing, but it looks weird to me. And I think from a distance it looks messy, since the shading and the crush lines tend to blend in. Oh, and the titty squish and the fluff—it's very impressive. But I like her personality. I think she's somewhat dorky, but in a very endearing way. That said, I can't say I felt too much around her. She's charming for sure, but I don't know if she's a very consistent play. That's all.
And what do you think?
I don't know why I think. That is one of life's greatest mysteries.
Well, Nord, maybe you can fill in the gaps.
To give just a little more context, this model was actually not made directly by Just Kidding, but was donated by Sonic Joey as part of a Secret Santa Kisake event that we do. Kisake being the program these models are made in. So a two-person effort for the art, and then Soulheart took her on for the writing. I think this model actually was made a couple of years ago, and Just Kidding's been trying to fish for people to write her for him. Welcome to Demon School. Iruma seems to be about a school of demons where humans are believed to be, mythical creatures, the stuff of fantasy, and Ameri is one of the only people who believes in them, and naturally the protagonist must get transferred to the school, and wacky hijinks ensue. Now, that's the entire extent of what I know about the series. Playing with Ameri again, I've played with her before, but doing another test game there, I do like her quite a lot. At the moment, her writing still repeats itself just a little bit. I did run into an issue where she kept saying the same couple of filtered lines over and over, and I did feedback that. I think the most interesting lines she has so far are where she has this revelation about how much she's finds the player interesting. Ironically enough, because as the player, we don't get the chance to reply to her. I do think that based on what I'm reading from source, you should probably react to humans and even non-humans separately, because obviously to her, humans are the rare and interesting thing. But I did get also the sense that she's trying to blend in and not draw too much attention to it. But maybe there could be a push and pull with that. Yeah, Cinnayanny's fine. Cinnayanny has found the original model there. Definitely was given a touch-up by Just Kidding, but it's a good base for the model. Her current art, at least for the head and hair, always looks almost immaculately one-to-one with source. Now, Ameri's body type is one that I am quite a big fan of. So, this, unlike with Cinna, Ameri is apparently doing a lot for me. If I was in a bit of a better mood, because I have been getting headaches when I did this test game with her. But if I was in a better mood, as I was the last time I played with her, Wowee Mama, she does things for me. So yes, a very good job overall. Really high quality posing in particular, I'd want to commend. The breast squish poses, Fence is doing really good with those for his characters that are more well endowed. So it's good to see more of that. Her forfeit, her forfeit. I just wanted to briefly touch on. It's very difficult to do a good sitting forfeit, and I think he's made a great effort here. Maybe just needs to fix up some of the lines a bit, because it's in this image that you posted, spnanon, where she's in the chair. You can see where the lines break a little bit in the middle. That about wraps up my thoughts, I think.
Soulheart RS. I know you wrote Jenna from Golden Sun, right? I'm sure he has some other credits as well, but they're not coming to mind.
He'd also worked on Noelle, and there was another Genshin one I think he either started with or adopted or was co-writing. Barbara, that's the one.
Oh, okay. Maybe after Alias let her go. Let's see. Yeah, writing-wise, she starts off very supportive. That's a big thing in her description. Is that she's the council president. She's the leader of the school. She encourages everyone to do their best. You saw a lot of that, and it kind of shifted into a more like lewd, embarrassed, and excited direction as she grappled with trying to like keep her poise, but at the same time she was super into it. And like that's a pretty classic SPNatI setup over the course of the game, and I thought she did it fairly well. This is not to criticize the writing. I just think the art especially was doing a lot of heavy lifting because she is very very expressive. For someone who's supposed to be so poised, you could pretty much always tell exactly what she was thinking. Yeah, she definitely cracks a lot. I think that's just part of the joke, is the contrast between what you expect from her archetype and how often she falls away from it. Does she bluff? Does she bluff at all? I may be mistaken on this. I couldn't replicate it, but I swear I saw her bluff at least once. She doesn't seem like the type to do it. I don't know. She gets excited for everyone and not just herself / the player, which I was heartened to see. I was worried she was going to be one of those characters who like doesn't care about anyone other than those two. But yeah, she did engage with the broader table and didn't just have like a really one-sided or one-note crush. Even though it's good to show interest in the player, obviously, and in her own arousal. Is she going to be one of those characters who's featured on Halloween? Some characters, if they're on a specific theme, they get featured alongside Altskin. She feels pretty Halloween-y. She's even got like jack-o'-lantern panties.
Could be, potentially, although I didn't get... She doesn't really do anything that spooky, is the thing.
I mean, I'll agree that like, yeah, the demon angle was kind of a little underplayed. Like the whole like humans through alien eyes, or in this case, demon eyes, if humans are supposed to be so mythical. I mean, she doesn't really look that different from a normal person in the first place. And yeah, I did feel like that element was kind of muted a little bit now that you bring it up. So maybe try to turn that up a little bit more. That's an entertaining side of her. As for how she treated the player, she was kind of God mode-y. A lot of her lines, I'm going to assume she does this every game, I'm not sure, but are like when it was my turn, she was calling me like literally silent, and her mind was racing as to why everyone was so charmed by my complete silence and lack of interaction. It was funny, but also kind of overbearing, because I suspect that that's just kind of what she would do every single time. And you want to be a little bit more flexible than that. And like, I kind of take issue with God moding the player to the idea that they literally don't say anything. Because like you playing at home, you do interact, you do look at the characters, you do say things probably at some point. So I like to just say, or have my character say, that the player does not talk much, because they probably do not talk as much as the characters do. Which is every single time something happens. So maybe consider rethinking that. Art-wise, though, yeah, I have very few criticisms. Her eyes stand out straight away. How they're like, how they like the outlines are not black, or her eyelashes or anything. That definitely makes her look a little inhuman compared to most characters. She's got like the reddish tint, like almost like a glow all around her eyes. They look very piercing. I love the pointy silhouette that she has, the flared skirt, her flared and pointy hair, the shadow that the skirt casts on her thighs. I wrote that she has sex on legs. I gotta agree. I love the tall, slender body, the long legs, the fat titties, the very heavy titties. I was wondering, because when she's naked, like, she does have like a bit of an invisible bra thing going on, but I thought, maybe they're just heavy. They're just heavy ass titties, so they kind of point down. But yeah, there's not a lot of firmness in the demon realm. It seems like I called it the JK special, so yeah, I noticed as well. He's very good about the boob squish these days. She has some S tier boob squish, especially you can see in that masturbation pose. They almost look like marshmallows or water balloons or something, with how little resistance they're putting up. Yeah, maybe that's just how demons are built. You get the idea with her straight away. She does a good job of demonstrating like what she's got going on, because she's got the piercing glare, but the inner naivete. I think the art and the writing are working pretty well in tandem, which is good for like a character who's got like a model from one person and posing from someone else and writing from someone else. It's good that it all comes together. I quite liked her, even in the limited exposure that I had. She was pretty cool. Fuck Zone Spotted, I wrote. I'm not sure if it's in, this one that I posted here with her romper left. You can kind of see like the little trapezoidal area around her armpit is kind of cutting into her sleeves. That's a known Kisekai problem even today, where you can't put any decorations there. I noticed that. It's not so bad though. And I think finally, never did get Satsuki Kiryuin, I wrote. This is a similar kind of character, although she is far less hard-boiled at the end of the day. She's cute. She's entertaining. She's fun. And yeah, as far as the forfeit goes, I'm fine with the throne. It did just appear out of nowhere. You'd think she'd have some demon magic or something, but no, just random throne. It just shows up in the very next pose she has without any kind of animation or anything, or even acknowledgement. And yeah, she's got a unique thigh setup with foreshortened thighs. It's a leg setup you don't see even from sitting characters too much. I think it's done quite well though. I've been complaining in some of the posing chats recently about custom thighs not looking so good or being too close together. This is pretty well done though. It's even got like kind of like the folds for like her butt being pressed up against the chair. The only thing I'd say is that for whatever reason, her actual pussy just kind of seems to be invisible a lot of the time. I don't know if it's because her hands are kind of big in comparison to it. Kind of covers it up, but it's hard to see her actual crotch sometimes. On the whole, though, very nice character. I liked her. I mean, she's great just to look at, regardless of what she's saying. But what she's saying is pretty entertaining too. Just maybe try to have a bit more variety with how she reacts to the player. Don't be so god mode. I like her though. Anything else you want to say about Ameri? I looked for I looked in her file for how to pronounce her name. It's not written. I don't know what to tell you, man. You got to use the pronunciation guide for these things. I don't know how to say it. I flubbed Fischl and I flubbed her name now.
I will just throw out there that recently I was promoted to having the developer server role, made 20 plus characters. There are a few people that even have made 10 plus characters, so I know that Just Kidding is going to be gunning to get made 20 plus characters as well. So another banger art demonstration from Just Kidding.
Okay, yeah, but I have written the equivalent of 20 characters. Why don't you chew on that for a while? As we move on,
divide each of them into 10 smaller characters.
Cinnayanny, do you have anything else to say?
Not really.
Well, I hope you do now.
I want you to know that I'll be trying for both of your positions to build wide and tall.
I hope you have something to say now, because we are moving on to the return of Jenetta from Etrian Odyssey 5. And if you thought Official was from pretty back in the day, a few years ago, Jenetta, I think, was made and put on testing in 2018. What I wrote down was added 2,725 days ago, which is not that far off from Maya and Jura. Maya's like 2,900 days ago. Apparently, you posted a GIF of Etrian Odyssey. I did not realize. Oh yeah, it's about drawing maps, right? It's like a dungeon crawler.
Yeah.
I'm assuming you've played this game.
I have. I haven't beaten it yet, and that was posted by Nora, not me.
But yeah, you can see the evolution of the models there. It was originally by Dorling, and that's one of the great things about SPNatI, is that someone can always come in years later, and if they see a project was unfinished and they like what the developer did, they can take over and adopt them years later, and bring them back into the forefront of things. This is Jenetta. She's an innkeeper. I believe you kind of visit her on a regular basis throughout the game between missions, if I'm not mistaken, but you can explain more about what's going on with her. You can go back and look for like probably the single-digit numbered episode for when we covered her the first time. I don't know what I said back then, but
I will look for that now.
pretty much just starting from scratch. So
Bye.
yeah,
I'm gonna look for that. Okay.
go for it.
Jenetta's was impulsive. I saw her on the roster, and I was like, "Yay, Etrian Odyssey, Pog!" And then the more I looked at her, and I was like, "Oh God, no! I can't handle this. She's not canon accurate."
She has rabbit ears, by the way.
Yeah, those are rabbit
And a
ears.
fully refurbished model. I don't know how much writing you changed yet, but the model was the big thing.
It's not really fully refurbished. Blue Coin had the V2 model that you can see. Like, there's dual lanes and then there's blue coins, and I basically built off blue coins. I had to learn a lot of things very quickly. But the colors are the same. Basically, her entire leg area is the same, and her face is the same as the old model. But I wanted to make her more canon accurate to, like, her uniform and everything. So I redid the hair and the ears because I don't like the default ears. Her dress, I had to do her apron, and I wanted to give her better wristbands and armbands and stuff. Her dress was quite complicated. It's kind of a mess. Her skirt, God, what a learning experience. If you look at the skirt in Kisekai, it looks like a mess. But I saw her in Incompletes. Writing-wise, Sterling had actually done a pretty solid job, but they had the old tropes of, wait, we have to masturbate? I don't really want to do that. And I removed that, along with some things that I felt were kiddie, like, oh, Jenetta, you're such a pure maiden. She's a grown-ass woman. This is an adult.
She's a rabbit.
She's a rabbit. I also did custom breasts and custom underwear. I did not intend for it to look like lettuce, but it does. So, like, fuck it, we roll.
You didn't intend for that?
No.
Isn't that what it looked like before as well? Or am I misremembering?
That is what it sort of looked like before. I wanted to keep it accurate, so I did that. And then Angela was like, hey, that bra looks like lettuce. And I was like, oh my God, it does look like lettuce. And then I had to remake her breasts like 3 times. I really struggled on those things. All honesty, I struggled to write her because Jenetta as a character is very simplistic and shallow, unlike my previous character Vine stuff, who is very complex, and I actually find that harder to write because I don't want to get lost in the headcanon rabbit hole, but at the same time, my best attempt at writing is to very slightly flanderize them in small and insignificant ways as I learn their voice, and Jenetta kind of already doesn't have a whole lot going for her, and is very flanderized already. So, like, I'm struggling here.
Well, you're already in the right headspace from everything the only screenshots I've seen of Jenetta online have been her making rabbit puns by, like, saying she's working her buns off working today. So just add a bunch of puns and surely that will lead to her being completed.
Have you finished your introductory spiel? Can Nord move on to his thoughts?
That's all.
Yeah, it was interesting with her channel being like completely silent and untouched since 2020 and then getting revived in 2025. It's been good to see. Like, I always like seeing characters that are offline or incomplete getting adopted and updated and revived. You did like generally a good job with her here. I didn't have many comments about the art apart from it being just a general improvement. I do have like feedback relating to her posing again. It is sort of a different. It's also to do with the hands, like I had with the last episode about Vine staff, but this time it's for a different reason. I don't know how much of this is you just copying what was done with her previous forfeit poses. I should have checked the old version of her art, but during her forfeit, her fingers kind of just hover around her lower vulva instead of directly. I wrote weird wording here. I wrote directly impacting her clitoris instead, and I was wondering if that was just a minor error. Like generally, a woman would aim her fingers to be going higher up if she's not going to insert any. So that would be something worth revising as well. Her newest custom chest, I think, is a step in the right direction. Custom nipples are very difficult to do right. The ones she currently has are alright, I'd say. She doesn't have any. It is really hard to do with custom breasts, so I don't blame you. But not having any breast squish at all is a bit of a downside to her being well endowed. Or like it's a missed opportunity with her being so well endowed and having like some poses where her arms are crossing over her chest. So I think it would be worth adding breast movement like that, even if it's just symmetrical and her holding her boobs for a pose or two.
I wanted to add that, but when I tried, I could not figure it out, and I do not want to commission someone because I already have an ongoing commission.
You can see how other characters do it. I can give you advice if you'd rather do it yourself. Generally, you just need to turn them into like full circles instead of teardrops, and then erase the lines at the top and move the nipples obviously to the center. It should be entirely possible to do. It just takes a bit of effort to do it the first time. I another note here about the making rabbit puns. I think she had one or two, but she could always make more. Not in every line of dialogue, obviously. I did ponder through her character file just to get a better sense of her in general. I feel like just for you, if you're struggling to like get into writing with her, you can just take all the lines that are already there, but like she only has one line of dialogue per case, like her own stripping poses, and just write a second line or even a third line. And then even if it's just a variation of what was already there, that's going to massively increase her line count, make her feel different when you play with her multiple times, and so on. And then in terms of topics, she did make some remarks about adventuring, but I didn't get really the sense of her being an innkeeper, or she didn't really allude to what makes adventuring special in the context of Etrian Odyssey. I can't tell if I'm remembering Etrian Odyssey is the one where you build the dungeon yourself as you're exploring through it, or if it's just that you have to map it out.
It's just that you have to map it.
Just mapping out, yeah. But I'm sure Etrian has quirks specific to its setting that you can also make reference to, just to flesh her out a bit more in the earlier stages in particular. And then obviously it is going to have to lean into headcanon territory based on what you're saying, but obviously just making Jenetta express more of what she specifically likes or dislikes, both in terms of like hobbies and interests and then sexually speaking, is always like a good way to have a character feel more like well-rounded and enjoyable. Because then you get the sense of like, okay, in a future game, I'll pick, a character that's like this, and that'll get Jenetta more in the mood. Things to think about. I think that about summarized my thoughts with her. Very good rework so far. Just need to go a bit further. Even if she doesn't end up being the character you sink most of your creative effort into, it's nice that you've reworked her, and like you could easily like put her on main as like a 1,200 line character is sort of a good amount to shoot for, I've always found. Like, you don't have to make her a 2,000 or 3,000 line character, just somewhat over 1,000, and I think she'd be good for me. And
all right.
One of the first things I noticed writing-wise was, oof, ouch, owie, old Jura targets I was testing her with. Jenetta, I mean, these are old targets. I don't know what you did, but Jenetta did not even dignify them with a response anymore. good on her. And of course, because they didn't have any proper markers, Shira just kept on talking to her. But yeah. So my question earlier was, how much of the writing is old lines? Because like I don't personally remember her lines. A lot of her lines felt like individually pretty good, but kind of scatterbrained, harebrained even. Definitely. I wrote she seems a little spacey and goofy sometimes, getting like phrases wrong and things. But she, like, the actual topics she covered, like the individual lines were good, but they were a little bit all over the place and at times formulaic in kind of that old 2018 way, where she would like have like a sort of like a stock line and sort of insert like each character from her source into that same mold and kind of plug and chug the line with that character. And she talks about other characters from her source material a bit too much. That was sort of an old SPNatI trope, an old SPNatI sin, where they talk about characters who are not there instead of herself, who is there. But she is fun, she is silly, and she's got some lore. She feels very comfortable to be around. It fits an innkeeper, kind of this supporting character that you return to a lot. Someone who's supposed to make you feel comfortable. So I liked her overall there. I think what she's got so far is pretty good. Just needs more variety. It's a bit more focus on herself in the game and a little bit less on the supporting cast of her game that we don't know about or see. She also never really explains her rabbit ears. I don't know why she has them. They look better than ever, but I still don't know why she has them. I guess I knew at one point and I forgot. I mean, I guess that's just her species, right? But like, what's the deal?
Just her species.
I think she could at least acknowledge that compared to, the humans around her, that she's slightly different. Of course, she was also there with Ameri, but art-wise, she did point out that her eyes are always closed in a funny line, and that made me think, how many eyes always closed characters do we have exactly? Is that a tag? Hex, if you're listening, is that a tag? How many do we have? She can't be the only one, right? I guess in a way it must make posing easier.
It makes it harder, actually.
What, for trying to actually express different things?
Yeah.
I guess so. Ezra, one of Maya and Jura's crewmates, she's the same way. Her eyes are always closed. She's sort of a maternal figure. We do have a model of her that hopes to feature in an epilogue one day. She's not in the game, though. Yeah, I mean, you posted the evolution of her models there. And it's just... Overall, it just feels more refined and distinct from the defaults that it had in the past. She has like the nearly Rei Ayanami style default hair in the past. The colors are more vibrant. The ears are fuzzier. The hair is floofier. Everything, all her features are just more exaggerated, more distinct, and less reliant on the Kisekai defaults. The dress shapes and the leafy cabbagey underwear. It's all on theme. It feels good. There's a lot of fun, vibrant greens she's got going on. A lot of extra, more specific details. So very nice job there, cleaning up and improving her model. Some of her strip poses were a bit basic, like when she is slipping off her panties. If I can find it, like her actual thumbs do not go in the panties. They're just on top of them. It's little things, but it's also like pretty easy to do in Photoshop. And yeah, I'm going to reiterate what Nord said as well, is that she's bone dry in some of the forfeit stages. Her hands are kind of awkwardly positioned. So maybe give that another pass. That doesn't seem appropriate for a rabbit. On the whole, though, good improvement. I like her. She's cute.
Thank you.
Very nice job with both these characters. Show a lot of promise.
Who's both? This is a new episode.
Everybody has seen every episode, of course. Who starts with episode 125? What are you, stupid? What are you, stupid or something?
Who starts with episode 1?
It's like with classic Doctor Who, you can't just start at episode 1, you have to start at episode 120 or something.
Nord is written here, pointing at her anus. Spnanon clickbait? No. I'm going to look at her anus, but she doesn't need to point it out. I'm just going to do it. She's pointing out her rabbit hole.
Hey, there we go.
Before we get too deep into the rabbit hole, let's finish things off unless you have any extra comments you want to leave about Jenetta and her return to testing.
To be honest, I half regret my decision because it was very impulsive.
Yeah,
I love
mean,
impulse decisions.
I think he did a good job, but it's also good to focus on one character at a time, and Vine Staff still needs to make it the main. But still, shows promise. Nord, anything?
No, I think, as before, solid foundation, this time for a rework. I do agree, like, maybe focus on one or the other before coming back to Jenetta. Like, maybe finish off Fine Staff since she's the one you had the immediate, like, passion to make new. And then once you've learned more from going through sponsorship with her, you can come back and finish off Jenetta. But even incomplete, this Jenetta is definitely an improvement, at least visually. And then, I suppose with you coming in 5 years later with the writing, you can't really do any worse. Not to say like her old writing's bad, but it's very of the time.
I admittedly wanted to keep her slight space cadet-ness, but I probably went a bit too hard, so I'll try to, if I return to her, I'll try to tone down that and make her, I don't know, sane.
I didn't think it was too much, just that she kind of talked about people who weren't there too much. Okay. But if we're ready to finish things up here, we have a main roster addition to finish things up. And I think one of the biggest surprises and one of my favorite new projects from last year, which is Vinyl from Bomb Rush Cyberfunk. We kind of went into all of her influences, and sort of it's a more recent like stylized game, all about roller skating and fuck the man and and graffiti and breakdancing and all that shit, and getting funky. But there's not too much like actual characterization as far as we're aware. But this is by again a new dev who did both the art and writing, I believe. I think he may have had some help with some of the poses. Some of the fancier poses that she has now with her dancing with her ass to the camera. Secret Serval is the dev, and this was a project that started off pretty good and quickly improved, and I think she's in a very good place now. I quite like her a lot. Again, this is Vinyl. Sort of a main character, I think, but I don't think it has much of a main character in the first place. Or a main cast. It's just sort of one of those things where you kind of project yourself into the setting, I believe, to some extent. But yeah, I really like the job he did.
My understanding is she's important to the story and is probably one of the most notable NPCs, but it's the sort of game where even like the noteworthy NPCs only have a couple of scenes and a couple of lines of dialogue. So there was a lot of extrapolation and writing by just the vibes of Bomb Rush Cyberfunk.
Yeah, she made it to main though. And I'm for one, I'm happy to see it. I think she's great. But yeah, Cinnayanny, you have not given your thoughts before. What did you think of Vinyl from Bomb Rush Cyberfunk?
She's great. It's interesting to see a character from a Shibuya punk source make it here. And I think she's very healthy for the game because, for one, she's black. Like, that's the big thing. She's a dark-skinned woman in a game that, whilst we love it, is very much covered in a bunch of lighter-skinned women. So I think having this skin tone diversity is very nice. She also works that jumpsuit. If I wore that bright yellow jumpsuit, I would look like a clown. I don't know how she pulls it off, but she sure does. Her writing's also very interesting in how she slightly touches on the feelings of being dark-skinned. Also, she mentions that her hair is initially brown because I play as a brown-skinned character, and I need to know what dye/bleach she uses to get it that blue because I need it. I need to dye my hair. I need to dye my hair like that. It makes
It's kind
her.
of funny how she plays into a lot of stereotypes. Like she's like part of a street gang and like break dances and listens to rap and funk music and shit and gets into tussles with the police. But she doesn't have any kind of like jive accent or anything. She doesn't have any accent at all. She's apparently from like a futuristic Amsterdam, but even then she doesn't sound like Dutch or I don't know. She just talks normally. So
I think it's the city's called New Amsterdam, and the creator, I believe, is like a Dutch company. So it was. I remember Serval actually asking, like, where should we interpret where New Amsterdam is, and I think they quickly decided, yeah, make them Dutch, future Dutch.
yeah, I'm just pointing that out because she has a lot of other things that you might consider stereotypical, but you don't really see it in the dialogue too much. It's not like offensive or anything.
I only really have a couple of notes on some of her artwork, which is that a couple of her poses, including the jump, look a tad awkward. Her dance animation is really nice, but one thing it reveals is that it looks like there's extra details on her like jacket and jumpsuit that you can't really see from the front, when I think you should be able to see them. And also, this is a big thing, her arm length between her shoulder and elbow often gets lost behind her jacket, and it just looks like she doesn't have that arm stretch. That said, a lot of the more subtle details, like her taking off her glove, is nice. And I have in my text, ass, 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 ass. That's all.
This character is ass in an affectionate way, as in she has a lot of ass.
Yes, this is the real reason I like her. Lay it on us, Nord. How did she charm your pasty Irish ass?
Well, okay then. Cinnayanny already mentioned it, but having more like person of color representation, it's not like the ratio is just what it is because SPNatI has trended towards more like Eastern characters and like Japanese and all that, and that tends to just be like completely pale skinned, and there is like sort of a push here for us to get more like dark skinned characters and other ethnicity characters just to try and balance things out. In a way, the woke agenda strikes again. And I hope that anyone that knows me know that I'm being completely ironic in saying that. But even just apart from that, like just taking Vinyl as a character herself, I think Secret Serval has done a great job since the last time we spoke about her. You can see here the progression of her model, like just in general, her proportions have been made a bit better. The hair is even more custom, it looks cleaner now. The actual like color scheme and design of the outfit hasn't changed, it's just gotten more detail in the ways that matter. In terms of her writing, she's a lot of fun to play with. Like seeing her do the dance just is a lot of fun. I did have a critique for that written down, which is that in the house dance pose, her shadow moves with her in that like it's part of the same sprite. I think you'd want, like, Secret Serval would want to make the shadow a separate sprite and have it, like, on the ground, and if you wanted moving back and forth with her, but not, like, attached to her feet, where it's, like, lifting up when she's lifting her feet, if that makes sense. I'll leave it to you to talk about the anaconda pose. But just in general, Vinyl's a lot of fun, and I can tell Secret Serval had a lot of fun with her posing and her dialogue, and she's a lot of fun to banter with as well. Oh, and also, this is something I didn't cover in the host chilling corner in the last episode. I really should have. I've contributed a new background to the game, the Cyber Lounge, and part of that was motivated by Secret Serval, like really pointing out that we need more like futuristic and sci-fi and cyberpunk feeling backgrounds. And you know what? There you go. Made one for Vinyl so she can have it with her preset table. Along with a bunch of other futuristic characters. I think that about covers it. I literally just have like nothing but praise with her apart from that one like dance sprite comment. Yeah, I hope to see more from her and more from Secret Serval in general in future.
Right now he's working on his OC. Now that he's gotten his requisite actual character, in the game. He's moved on to his halfling periwinkle, his purple garden gnome.
The first purple-skinned character in the game.
Everything about her is purple.
Wait, no, it wouldn't be because of rarity. Never mind.
Wait, make a second purple skin character.
Wait, no, rarity is
Rarity's
rarity
white.
is white. Do we have any purple-skinned characters yet?
Quick, make one.
Twilight?
Twilight.
Oh, yeah, Twilight, yeah. And Beatrix. I hope we don't end up with more purple-skinned characters than dark-skinned characters.
I liked Vinyl before. I like her now. I wasn't actually really going to comment on the Anaconda pose, other than that it's very funny that he went for it. But yeah, she's got a lot of great butt poses and just like motion in general, which makes sense for a character like this. You want to really have her get up and moving. The pose I liked the most was a masturbation pose, which I can't really post because it's like a custom one. It's in pieces, but it's the one with her legs up. It's like that's the kind of dynamism and flexibility and you want to see out of this character, and she really knocks it out of the park in that regard. She gives you what you came for. She's got a lot of ass action, a lot of movement, a lot of dancing. She's having a good time. And that's something that that can often get lost, is that she's just genuinely really enjoying herself and sort of the action and the sexuality of the game. She's pretty comfortable with it, but not like overbearing either. I want to once again praise like the adaptation of like the game's like kind of cartoony, stylized, cell shaded look into something that fits the game pretty well. Her face is like sort of cartoony. She doesn't have like typical anime eyes, but they're also not like the Kumatora like doll eyes either. Like she does have like white sclera. Her hair, very creative use of like the rose ribbons, colored and they blotted out to make like kind of poofy looking hair. Overall, like very simple, like solid shading that gets the point across and adds enough detail that she's not just like, it's not like a big blob of yellow for her entire jumpsuit. There's enough for like your eyes to get attached to like show like depth and like shading and contours and things. Very nice job there. I wrote, you gotta love a girl who'll just start breakdancing in the middle of the game and flipping her body all over the place just to give you something to look at because she enjoys it. I like how she's got like apparently this super like serious mission going on in the game in the background because she's like a spy, but she expresses that mission by just breakdancing the shit out of everything around her. Her lines don't always reflect when she's kind of like going off and like crazy dancing and stuff. Sometimes she's singing along to it if she's got like a specific animation, but sometimes she like does a big break dance when she strips, but like her line is like written totally normally, like she's not exerting herself at all. I think that's something you could add. Sometimes I think her lips are an open mouth, but no, she just has big lips. I noticed that I did the same thing with Jim Raynor. He has like custom lips that are a little bigger than like the normal anime, just like draw a line for the mouth. And oftentimes I thought his mouth was open, but no, he just has big lips. It's not really a complaint, I guess. She looks fine. Impressive with not only the dancing poses, but the clothed dancing poses as well. He went all out for every stage. It's becoming a new thing. I'm not going to bother with that, I don't think, very much. But doing custom poses for every state of undress. Thank you for not making them loop infinitely because there is a lot of motion going on. It's kind of distracting. But at the same time, it's a bit of a shame, like this sort of 3/4 behind the back butt pose where she's dancing. I don't think it ever really holds on it because it's just part of a broader animation. But yeah, I wrote nice poses with the legs up in the forfeit.
It's really good.
Also, she had a funny line about how she could never like wear anything red along with her yellow jumpsuit because she would start looking like a fast food joint. Oh, and this pose that I posted as well. It's called Happy Solitaire. If you want to look at the file names, she used this a lot when she was talking to people, but it didn't quite fit because she's not looking at anyone. She's looking up and away for some reason, like she's nervous or evasive about something, but she's just making conversation. This doesn't look very happy to me. That was weird. Writing wise, though, good filters. She had a lot of different filters for things. A good variety. She commented on Ameri being a devil. She commented on Jura and Ameri being tall. I think she commented on their long legs. She says she looks kind of modest compared to other Bomb Rush Cyberpunk girls. I don't know if that means her outfit or like her boobs aren't the biggest, but I mean, she looks pretty sexy to me. Sometimes if you write too many filters, because she did have a lot of filters, it can feel like she's kind of being ignored if she tries to start conversations with them, because people don't really reply to filters. You almost can't predict them or really keep track of them. So yeah, try to make filters always like one-off comments that don't really lead anywhere. And it's very funny how she would like take selfies of herself, kind of play up the bad girls or like rebel angle going on. But then like later on, she would get a little self-conscious that she did that and sent it to somebody. Like she kind of forgot herself in the moment. And so she strikes a really good balance of like being both sexy and cute. She doesn't totally descend into one or the other. She feels pretty real. She's just having a good time. And yeah, she was featured in a bit of fan art here. She has a hug pose with Kaz, another dark-skinned character. He finally got laid. He's been swinging his big Toblerone out all over the inventory. Finally hit the mark. He gets a piece of that ass, or at least he touches her ass. I don't know if it goes further than that. That's all I had to say. I liked her then, I like her now. Definitely one of my favorites from the past year. Really nice job, Secret Serval. Happy to have you around.
God, Vinyl is such a fun character to play with.
Yeah. I don't know if I pointed it out specifically. I really liked this pose, this forfeit pose, where she just gets both of her feet up in the air. That's some good stuff. That got my notice. But yeah, any final thoughts on any of these characters? Jenetta, Vinyl, and Ameri? I hope I'm saying that right.
All of them are really good. For Ameri and Jenetta, just need a bit of love and care to get across the finish line, get onto me, and eventually. With Vinyl, good character to have reached me, and I think whenever a character reaches me, and I always try to judge them as like, if this is their final state and they never get updated ever again for one reason or another, how would they hold up? I think Vinyl will hold up very well, but I do hope she gets more updates in future just to banter with new characters, new content if Serval fancies it. In general, one of my favorites. Cinnayanny?
I don't really have any final thoughts. It's kind of late for me too, but I generally agree. I think that Ameri's very promising. And I hope I haven't been too harsh.
I want to thank you very much for coming on, Cinnayanny. I think you expressed yourself very well. And you did a nice job with your projects.
Thank you. I hope I wasn't too bad a podcast guest.
No, absolutely not. And thanks as always, Nord, as well. Always enjoy having you on.
Yeah.
Any sign-offs from either of you?
I have contributed to one of like 20 existing Vinyl images that could be tagged not safe for work. A majority of them are Futanari for some reason, but I don't know if this can be shared in the episode, but I've shown it to both of you. Again, this was a little Christmas gift for Secret Serval, for Tweetsy, and for Just Kidding, with Vinyl dancing away.
It must be because of that jumpsuit. You can hide a bulge really well. That's all the food are.
Merry Christmas, everyone.
Cinnayanny, anything?
Christmas, just a week away.
Well, Nord, I think that's going to do it for this episode. But I thought of something even funnier than 125.
What's that?
126. But that is going to be next time. Good night, everybody.